What are we going to do today? Today we want to look at pull requests and Git and GitHub. I'm a huge fan of Git. To some people it's really boring. I find it fascinating and useful. So we're going to talk about how to do collaborative coding using all of these awesome tools. First things first, please, if you are not already part of the CCV Share Slack, sign up to the CCV Share Slack. This here is the link. And we're going to have a chat in there. Which channel should we use for that?
I would think probably the DSCoV channel.
Is there a DSCoV channel?
There is a DSCoV channel.
Then let's find that. So, in the CCV Share Slack, DSCoV. Where is it? Channels? No, add channels, browse channels, DSCoV. There we go. So please join this channel once you're signed up. There we go. And we will be available for with questions and ideas in there. So that's the first thing. The second thing, once you're there, you'll want to navigate to this repository. I'm going to put the link in the Slack. So you should be able to click on that. And also, please put into that Slack your GitHub name, your GitHub handle if you have one. And if you haven't, we're going to sign up for one in the first step or the 0th step because you'll need that to be able to put in a pull request and do the merging and everything that we want to do today. Okay. What are we going to do today? What is the point? So today, we're going to try to collectively reformat a really poorly formatted version of the Wikipedia page on Git. So the original is this. This is how it looked when I found it. And unfortunately, something went terribly wrong when I copied it. And now it looks, it's under Git text content when you're in the repository. Now it looks like this. So no paragraphs, no headings, or very few headings, really badly formatted references. So what we're going to do is, together as a great big team, we're going to go in and we're going to reformat this ugly document. Okay, so how are we going to do that? So we're going to start with that. We're going to make sure that we've all got a way to download the code onto our own machines. We're going to work out how to interact with it. We're going to then, each person's going to get an issue. Yes?
I think there's no audio on the Zoom.
There's no audio on the Zoom. Who's got the audio on the Zoom?
I think you need to join the audio.
Do I need to join the audio? Okay. Join audio. Can you hear me on the Zoom now? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, it should be that, I think. Hang on. Can you hear me on the Zoom now? Okay, yeah. Okay, good. Then let's carry on. Okay, so we're going to, each person's going to get an issue. An issue is a description of a problem, and we've tried to break down this great big problem of reformatting this huge file into separate little tiny pieces. You're going to choose an issue and you're going to make it yours. Then you're going to clone the repository. You're going to make a branch in that repository where you can make your changes. You're going to commit the things that you need to commit to that branch to fix the thing in your issue. And then you're going to push it up to GitHub. And we'll go through what all of that means. Then you're going to make what's called a pull request, which says to me and everyone else who's involved, I want to add this change to your repository. Can you have a look at it And can you merge it?
Go back to the first audio setting and talk again.
Okay. There we go. That should do it. So we're going to make a pull request which says, please merge your changes into this repository. Then everyone else is going to have the chance to review your pull request, make suggestions, make recommendations, or say, this is awesome, let's merge it. After that, you're going to clean up. You're going to, yes. It's on the Slack here. I've put the link in the Slack, and the address is this. I'll also put it in the Zoom chat. So if you're in the Zoom, it's in there. All right. So then you're going to clean up. You're going to have made a branch, and then you're going to have merged it, and that branch is no longer relevant, so we're going to get rid of that. And then what we're going to have is an updated version of the original, but all of the other PRs, and there are a bunch of people in the room, which is awesome, but everyone's going to have to update their PR as well, because otherwise they might be overwriting things. And then in some cases, I'm hopeful that we're going to have some merge conflicts where we have to combine bits of PRs that people have done. Because one person's written something on one line, someone else has done something else on the same line, and then we've got to merge those together. And once we've done that merge conflict, we can then merge in the next PR, and it'll appear in this repository. So that's the broad overview. We're going to go through all of the terms in a little bit more detail as we go through. Any questions so far? All right. Then let's go and let's start. Oh, hang on. Did we manage to... do we need to do anything special to record this meeting? I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to do it there. Good. Okay. I think everyone should still be able to hear and see everything. So we're going to start. Let's begin. So what you need to do first is go to github.com, make sure that you're logged in. If you're not logged in, then log in. If you don't have an account, then please sign up for an account. And a lot of people use their Brown email address for that. Then you also need to download either the GitHub desktop app or the GitHub command line tool and the Git command line tool. I recommend, if you've not got these things installed already, go for the GitHub desktop app because it's got everything and it's a bit easier to deal with. So just get to the repo, go to the start, and then just click on this and you'll get a link and some information on how to download GitHub Desktop for your system. And then you'll also need a text editor, and VS Code is a good one. So if you've not got VS Code, then also just hop onto here, click on here, and then download that. Okay, what we're going to do now, you can look at those things whilst we're doing this next little bit. We're going to work through one cycle of making an update, just as a demonstration, before everyone then goes away and can do their own thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the issues first. So we've got a bunch of issues that have already been set up for this repository. And I hope that there'll be enough for everyone. As I said before, each of these is a tiny little piece that we're going to use to update this document. So you can see there's a couple of pages. And in a little while, you'll pick one and you'll assign it to yourself. So I happen to know that Carlos had a look at this issue yesterday and thought that this was a great one for him. So what's it about? It's about reformatting some references at the end of the document. There's no assignee on here, so what do we do when we get an issue? We say, this is going to be mine. But in this case, this is Carlos's. So there we go. So that's Carlos's issue. Then what we're going to do is we're going to download all of the code, and we're going to work out how to fix it. So what do we do? Let's just go back to where we were with the issues. So we've made an issue. Carlos is in this case. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to clone all of the repository onto your computer. The first thing you do is you go into the repository page, you click on this code button, and then you say open with GitHub desktop. So we're going to go to the repository, we're going to click on code, we're going to say open with GitHub desktop, we're going to say yeah, that's fine. And here we are. We are in the repository. Then what you can do is you can open this with Visual Studio Code, say. So I've got Visual Studio Code installed here, so what am I going to do? I'm going to close that a second. I'm going to say open folder. And I know that I've cloned it here. It's in developer GitHub how to PR. Yours might be in a different place, so just be careful about that. You can also click directly on this button in your GitHub desktop application. So we're going to open it there. And then you get this list of things down the side, this list of files. So in this case, we've got this git text content. This is the document that we're looking at. And if we think about the issue, it was about formatting the last couple of references down at the bottom. So we're going to go down to the, oh no. So it's about formatting these couple of references. So what we can do is we can modify the format. I'm just going to do this quickly as an example because I know that Carlos has already made this PR. So we're going to change the formatting the way that we want it. We're going to add the link, and then we're going to save that, and we're going to commit it. All right, so let's just, yeah.
Right there, is there a way to preview it?
Yes, there is in VS Code. Thank you for that. So here, if you're in VS Code, there's this little button up here, up at the top, that says open a preview to the side. That's a good point, actually, because I've clearly not formatted this quite correctly. So we're going to have something that looks a little bit like this at the end. This is just the change that we need to make for this formatting. We'll look at the, you can have a little bit more of a look at the syntax of these files a little bit later. Okay, so we're going to save that. So clone. Okay, so we've opened that, we found that, we're going to save it. Okay, we're going to make a new branch at this point. I'm just going to slow down a little bit. So, for all of the changes that we need to make on our repository, we're going to deal with what are called branches. There are some, so branches in Git, it's a thing that's connected to a particular version of the code. So you've got, when we look at this repository as a whole, all of the files together have a particular version. So we've got a particular version of everything. And in the what's the way to do this? And we've got a series of different versions that happen over time. So up here on the repository screen, we've got this thing up here, this main. This is the branch that we're currently on. So the main is the place where we're going to merge everything, and this represents the sort of the productive version of this code, the true current version that everyone is going to look at when they look at this repository and their starting point. The main branch is a particular version, and each of those versions in Git is called a commit. And if you want to look at the commits, then we can look at those too. So we've got those here. You can click on this commits button, and then you can see all the different versions of this code that there have ever been, all the way back to a couple of days ago. Okay, but we don't want to just overwrite that current version without sort of sending up a version that we want other people to look at, right? So we wanted that pull request, so you want to make a new version that isn't just going to directly overwrite this. So what do we need? We need a different branch. So here we've got, that was a little bit quick. So if you go up here and click on View All Branches, or click here on the number of branches, then you can see there are different branches. What's a branch? A branch is just a different version of the code with a different name. And it could be, a branch could be a series of commits that make a series of small changes. And that's typically what we want to do. So we want to start from main, and then we're going to make a series of small changes. And at some point, we're going to be done, and that's our new branch. We've got a couple of branches in here. So we've got this fix refs 122 to 121 to 122 branch that Carlos put in. We've got this other one that I put in. And then we can look at those, and we can look at there's a different series of commits for each of those. So how do you make a branch? Because you want to make a branch before you start modifying code. So how do you make a branch? So the easiest way is on the GitHub issue page. You can click. So once you've chosen your issue, you can go down here and you can click Create a branch. And I think we're going to do that right now. So let's just do that one. So we're going to create a branch. And I'm going to say open branch with GitHub Desktop. We're going to create it. And we're going to allow it. Okay, and then now we're, you can see.
What was the option
Yep.
that you chose?
That was, so I'd made some changes without being on a branch, and I wanted to take those with me.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was a little bit quick with the making changes. I got my order a little bit messed up. Okay, so we're going to make a branch, and then we're going to get it local. Yes?
When you made the branch, it seemed like it auto-populated?
It did auto-populate the name based on the issue name and the issue number.
Is that something you already set up?
That's automatic. Yeah.
I mean, also will now track the branch is now tracked with the issue, so that in the end, like instead of running me,
Um,
It's automatic from
It's automatic from GitHub. I'm not sure.
Oh, is there?
We'll find out. We'll find out. Okay, so we've created our branch. We've pulled it down local, and then we're going to make some changes. So here we've got some changes. We've got those at the bottom of this file. What we're going to do, we're going to make a new commit. So the commit, we're going to jump into the GitHub desktop application. We're going to select the changes that we want. So they're all selected in here. We're going to update so I'm going to say fix update ref 122. I'm going to press commit. Okay. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to push to the origin in here, or sometimes you'll see publish branch. That'll come up a little bit later, but we're going to push to origin.
What's the origin guy?
The origin. What is the origin? Okay, so when you copy a GitHub repository or a Git repository, it's the place that you copied it from, which might be a repository on GitHub, or it might be another repository on your computer, or it might be an archive somewhere else that contains the data from a Git repository. That place that you cloned it from gets called origin. And in general, it's called a remote. And remotes are things that you can pull changes from. So if there are new commits there, you can pull the changes from. You can push commits to remote, and you can push updated branches to remote. And other people can do the same. So it's just, origin is just this repository on GitHub. All right. Okay, so we've pushed, yes? Okay, so main is a branch. That's a series of commits that. So main is a particular version of the code that's in the repository, whereas origin is the repository. So origin contains all of the branches. Origin contains what are the branches on origin just now? Let's just look at those. So this is origin, and main is just this particular version of the code on origin. So if I click on main here, it's this particular version of the code. If I click on this one, so this is a different branch. This has a different version of the code, but it's all on origin. Okay, so next up, we've pushed our code up to GitHub. We've pushed this new branch with this change up to GitHub, and now it's time to make a pull request. So we're going to hop into the pull requests, and what you're going to do is you're going to click on compare and pull request. We're not going to go through this right now because we can do that when you're actually going through it in the next step. This is the one that Carlos produced earlier. Based on the same stuff that I was looking at. So this is Carlos's version of this issue, and okay, what can you see? There's a title. There's not a description, but it's pretty clear what the update is. So it doesn't need to be super verbose there. What have we got down here? These are the things that say whether or not it's ready to merge into the rest of the repository yet. So it says here, we need a review, and this branch is out of date. So those are two things that we need to deal with quickly. Okay, what's a review? Well, a review is, I'm going to go into this list of the files that have changed, and I'm going to look at what's happened. So Carlos has updated this bit of text. It's just reformatted the footnotes. And then down here, he's added some other formatting. Looks all right, but I know that there's a problem with this. So I know that on this line, there's a missing colon, and the same on this line. So what we need to do here is we need to make a comment. We need to say, this looks almost great, but we just need this one extra thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this blue button that appears when I hover over the edge of the line. I'm going to say, this looks like it's missing a colon. I'm going to make a suggestion by clicking this suggestion button, and then I'm just going to change what I think needs to be changed. And then I'm going to say start review. Same on this line. That's missing a colon as well. So we're going to say add review comment. Okay, and then I'm going to click on finish your review, and I'm going to say looks great, but needs a couple of changes. And I'm going to submit it. Now what Carlos is going to do over there, thanks Carlos, is go back into his PR, and he's going to make some changes. So he's going to look at this. He's going to see, okay, John thinks this is fine, but this bit needs a change, and this bit needs a change as well. So he might commit those suggestions, or he might make the change himself. And then in a second, he's going to send back, right, I've made the changes. Does it look good? Looks good. Let's see what's happened. So there, that change has been made. And then I think there's one more that needs to happen, and then we'll be good. Everything working, Carlos?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the big paragraph. Sometimes it's hard to tell, like, find yourself in the maze of text.
So one easy way, if there's a suggestion like this, one easy way to deal with it is to go into the PR and just click on commit suggestion. There is the risk that the person's made a suggestion that actually breaks your code, and this is automatically going to make a commit. So be careful about that. And then, okay, that looks like Carlos has made the changes. Looks good to me. So we're going to go into the review again. I'm going to say,
Wait, should he request a re-review?
oh, he should request a re-review. Thank you, Isa. Carlos, can you request a re-review? That's this button here. So
John has gone to work, and now he can't keep track of that he needs to go back here. Someone needs to let him know.
yeah, this is true. Oh, look, I've been asked for a re-review. Thanks, Carlos.
Oh, and then get a Slack message.
And then get a Slack message. And here I've got this button, add a review. Yep, you can also send me a Slack message. I'm happy to field those. So we're going to add my review. Looks great. And then we're going to approve it. And then it's good to go. And then Carlos can come in here, and he's the one who's going to press the merge pull request, because he's the author. He's got that. He's responsible for this change in the end, and we want to give him the agency. It's his stuff. Whoa, look, it's gone. So that was one full cycle. Now we've got one additional problem, and that's that in this other pull request that I've got, it's out of date and there are some conflicts, but we'll look at those a little bit later, because I think we've got plenty to go on already. All right, so please go ahead and open up this repository. Start here. Make sure that you've got everything that you need. So the GitHub desktop app, VS Code or maybe the command line tool. Then go to the issues page. So you can follow all the instructions up here. So you're going to go to the issues page. You're going to find an issue that you like. You're going to click on it. And then you're going to assign yourself. And if someone else... Do they need to? Okay, so please put your GitHub name into the Slack, and we will add you to the repo. So we had that Slack channel there before. All right.
John, we're adding them.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Do people have to click on a link in the email to accept?
Yes.
Or do they just have to? So check your email, the one that's linked with GitHub, click on the accept, and then you should be able to add yourself to one of these issues as an assignee.
Should we try to divvy it up now, or just let people go for it?
I think let people go for it. All right, so one thing that we can that I can touch on, so the formatting of the document that we're aiming for, it's called Markdown or GitHub flavored Markdown. That's the format. So the thing that we're trying to do to this big document is turn it into the format that GitHub uses for its READMEs and the comments on its pull requests and all of that. And if you're interested in seeing examples, then all of the files in this repository are written in Markdown. So you can say, go on how to commit, and then if you click this display the source blob button at the top, then you'll be able to see what Markdown looks like. It's probably not important to do the Markdown bit today. If you've not used it before, the thing is to change something in this document, make a pull request, and push it. All right, I'm starting to see people taking up issues. Anyone having trouble with getting to the issues? All right, so once you've got your issue, you'll need to clone the repository. Who's up to this point? Couple? Yeah, we've got a few CCV people around who can give you.
Do you clone the repository before you make a new branch?
If you create the new branch via the issues, you don't need to clone the repository first. As soon as you click on open in GitHub Desktop, it'll automatically clone the repository for you. Show of hands who's managed to clone the repository. Yeah.
So in your issues, that the pull request you have, can you assign yourself to that one? Because people might assign yourself to that issue. The first one, Tom?
The top one. Yep. Thank you. Any questions? Show of hands who's at the clone the repository step or further. Just have a quick see where everyone's at. Any questions? Anyone having trouble? So please send a message in the Slack if you've not been added as a collaborator yet, or added to this repository. What are we up to? Okay, so I'm going to assume at this point that everyone has managed to assign themselves to an issue. So the guide to how to do that is on here, and I'll stick around a little bit after the hour, and then we can deal with any other issues that come up. We're just going to assume that that's happened. Okay, so you've gotten your issue. Then you're going to clone the repository by clicking on this code, open with GitHub Desktop. It's the easiest way. We're going to make a new branch. And the easiest way to do that is just to go to the GitHub issues page and click on this Create a Branch button on the issue. Then you can clone it locally. So if you go into your GitHub Desktop app after that, you can click on this Fetch Origin, and then you should be able to select that branch from this list of branches down here. Or it'll prompt you to download it automatically. All right, then you're going to open the code in VS Code, say, and you're going to make a change. You can look at the preview by clicking on this Open Preview button here and see it on the right-hand side. You'll go back into GitHub Desktop. You'll make the commit. So make a new version of the code by putting in a summary in here. This title is required, and then you click on commit. So I've seen a good few branch is appearing in there, so that's very encouraging. Are we up to this point with the commits yet? Who's managed to make a commit on their new branch? Show of hands. Do we need to? Shall I go through that one more time? Yep. All right. So, how to make a commit? We're going to make a change in the editor, just like that. We're going to save it. We'll go back to VS Code. Here's the change. We're going to say fix reference 123, say, and then we're going to say commit. And then you're going to go and click on push origin in here, and that's going to push that new commit along with your branch up to the GitHub repository. Right, next up, we're going to make a pull request. So either you can click on this create pull request button right here, or you can go back to the repository and click on pull request up there. And then you can click on this compare and pull request button in here. All right. Who's managed to push a new commit to the repository on GitHub? 1, 2.
John, question.
Yeah.
Can you go back to GitHub desktop?
Try. Oh.
Yeah.
Which bit?
GitHub desktop. You had it on, right?
Desktop. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, so the pull request button over there, it also compares the code for merge conflicts in the main branch?
It'll make it into the pull branch. It'll make a pull request, and that's the thing that does the conflict checking. So here I've got a can't automatically merge because I know I've done something that's overwritten what Carlos did before. But that happens on GitHub. It just sends it up to GitHub and then says create a new pull request there based on these two branches. Okay, so one thing that you can, if you're up to this stage already, you'll notice here that we're comparing two branches in the pull request. So we've got this main branch. So that's, we said before, main is the sort of the default. It's where the current best version of the code lives. And then your new branch is this compare branch. And what you're saying with the pull request is, I want to pull the things from this compare branch and merge them into the main and have them be part of the new best version.
What does it mean if it says able to merge versus can't automatically?
If it says able to merge, then once you've made the pull request, you won't have to deal with any merge conflicts.
Okay.
If it says can't automatically merge, then what it's going to do, so let's just demonstrate that quickly. It gives you this resolve conflicts button. And that's something that we'll have to deal with. Should we look at that now? I think we can look at that now. All right, so if you have this resolve conflicts button, then you can click on the resolve conflicts. And it'll show the region of the file or the regions in the files where you've got two different versions of something, where there have been multiple changes. And what you need to do here is delete all of the bits that shouldn't be in there. So delete all the bits that are wrong or unmerged, or rewrite all of it to sort of stick them together. And in this case, I just know that Carlos's bit is the important bit, so I'm going to remove all of my stuff. I'm going to remove these less than, equal to, and greater than delimiters, and then I'm done, and I can click on Mark as resolved, and that'll say once I've done all of the conflicts, I can click on committing merge, commit merge, and that'll update my pull request automatically. All right. Okay, we're starting to see some pull requests. This is excellent. So let's go through one of these. So added paragraphs in characteristics section. Excellent. So we've got one file changed. We're going to have a look at the, oh, don't forget to request me and some other people, maybe a couple of your friends, person sat next to you, as a reviewer on your pull request. So you can go into your pull request, click on reviewers, and then select those people. Fantastic. So I've been requested as a reviewer. And then when I open the pull request, I'll see this add your review. So I'm going to click on that. This looks great. We've got paragraphs. So let's say, looks great. Let's merge it. I'm going to submit my review. And then Natsu3 can click on merge pull request, hopefully, and then this will disappear and it'll be part of the code. Woo! And then let's go back to the text content. Let's go down to the characteristics section. There you go. Paragraphs. Genius. Okay, let's see if we've got any more conflicts. Oh, yes. So someone here has gone for the one of the hard issues. So we can actually preview what this looks like with the markdown by opening this view file thing. Fantastic. We've got a picture of the creator of Git. Huge. That is what we like. So we're going to review those changes. Looking good. And let's approve it. Fantastic. Now let's get that merged in. Oh, we've got an update to the README. All right. I think we can take that. So here, I think actually these headings needed to be H2s in the README. So I don't think that this change needs to be included, just as an example. So what we're going to do with this one is we're going to say, thanks very much. Thanks for the modifications, but I think we need these headings to be H2s. And then we can say, this is not a PR that we want to include. Maybe it's something that we need to look at again. If it was something that we needed to change a little bit, then we'd continue to modify it in this PR. In this case, we're going to close this one, and there'll be a new PR for the headings in the Git document. So we're going to close that one. All right. Who's getting to making pull requests? Who's having trouble making branches? Stick your hands up if you're stuck somewhere.
I got a question. Can you make a pull request depend on another pull request?
Yes, you can. So sometimes you may have. So we had this situation before of making suggestions about someone's code. Sometimes, if you want to make a lot of suggestions, then it's probably it might be easier for you to make a full new pull request to incorporate those. So what you can do then is you can. So let's say I wanted to make an additional comment on this commit. So which one is this? Which branch are we on? It's 33 update Git server heading, and I want to make some bigger modifications. So I'm going to go into the GitHub desktop. I'm going to open that branch. What was it called? 33. So I'm going to open that branch, and then I'm going to create a new branch based on that. So again, in the GitHub desktop, I'm going to make a new branch. And it's based on this current branch that I'm on. 33 bigger fix, bigger fix. Okay, and then we can say, so I'm on my branch locally now, and I can say. Add it here, just for example. Fix, add new paragraph, and commit that. I can then publish that branch. And here's so that's all the same as doing the other kind of pull request. This is the tricky bit. So I said before, we're usually trying to merge into main, which is the source of, like the current best version of the code. Instead of that, we're going to merge into the branch that the other person had as their pull request. So this is my improvement, and this is the original pull requests branch. I'm going to create that pull request, and then I'm going to make the original author reviewer on that. So let's pretend that Paul made the original. So I'm going to make him a reviewer. And then I'm going to go into the original one, and I'm going to send a message saying, I've made a bigger comment. There's an additional pull request for that. I'm going to do it as a review as well. So I'm going to say, oh, I can't do that. Added some additional comments in I can't remember what so I'm going to make a comment about that in here, and then the person can go into my new pull request and they can decide whether they want to merge that or not. All right. So who's managed to put together a pull request? So please add other people to review your pull requests, and you'll get emails. So if you've got someone next to you who's got a pull request, and you've got a pull request, then add each other as reviewers, and get reviewing these pull requests for each other. We've reached 1 p.m. now, so yeah, we'll just try to get through this last little bit. If anyone needs to go, thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate your time. So this is one from Paul. Let's look at this. This looks great.
John,
Yes.
before like everyone leaves, can you talk about like now they've like pushed stuff, they have a branch, now it's merged, and they should go back to main?
Yes. Okay, so that's a very good point. Thank you for that. So once we've merged something in, what you want to do is, so on your local copy, you're going to go and reload the main branch. So currently we're on this fixed branch. We're going to open GitHub Desktop, and if we want to do something more on the code, then we're going to start from the main branch again, and we're going to check that that's been updated. And here we've got a few more changes, so we're going to pull those in before we start anything new. Is that what you meant, Ellen?
Yeah. So like, why do we need to go back to main though? Yeah.
Why do we need to go back to main?
Like, can we just keep building on the code that I've been working on?
It's a good question. So you might have been working on something really awesome, and if we've merged it in, then that's great. That awesome code is already in main, and everyone's got access to it there. If you keep on working on your branch, then you won't have the stuff that everyone else has done on main. So you won't have those things that everyone else has done. And we need to, in this collaborative setting, we need to have people pulling all of that other stuff and then building on each other's work. I think that's why I'd say go back to main and start building there. All right, so do we have any more reviews? So please add your friends as reviewers. You can see who else is available on here. There we go. More people. There's also a list of names in the Slack that you can use.
Are they able to add each other, or is it just like owners of the repo?
I think they're able to add each other. I think everyone's able to add each other. All right, so we've had an update there. Okay, we're starting to get to the point where we've made a few changes to main since people started working on their changes. So if you've got a pull request that's currently open, what you can do is you can go into it. So this is mine. You can go down to the bottom and you can say update branch here. So you want to, this is like pulling all of the changes that other people have made and that have been merged, pulling them into your branch so that you can check that your changes are still working and that there aren't any conflicts. So if we do this, it says here there are no conflicts, so we don't have to deal with anything for this merge. Let's see if we can find one that's got some conflicts. No, that's got no conflicts. Also, okay, let's start. Let's just get merging these. So anyone else who's confident, go ahead and start. You can start reviewing other people's pull requests, approving them, and getting them merged. So this looks great. Let's approve that. So whoever's pull request this is, please go ahead and... fantastic. Merge conflicts, that's what we wanted. So we're going to have to resolve them. I love merge conflicts. Resolve some merge conflicts. I've seen that before. So we need to... This is the stuff that's... sort of right. I think that needs to be a 1, 2, 2 because it matches that down here. So we're going to close that up. And everything else looks fine. And then I'm going to say mark as resolved. I'm going to commit it. And then we're going to merge the pull request. Great. And then, yeah, let's get these. So Paul, do you want to merge your PR? Just get it in there, because that's all reviewed. Let's look at this. Yep.
Issue when the PR associated with it is resolved.
Thank you. That's a very good question. What happens to the issue? So let's look at this issue. So we've got this pull request based on issue number 2. So at the moment it's open. Hopefully it'll just get resolved. So this looks like it's a work in progress. Okay, that's a draft. Let's look at this one. Is that okay? Let's look at this update server heading. So that at the moment that's open. You can see it from this green thing here. If we merge this pull request, what's going to happen to that issue? If we go to the issue now, it's been closed automatically. So it'll disappear from the list of issues. And yeah, we'll know that it's sorted. Okay, let's go through the last of these issues. So that one needs to be closed because that was mine. Reformat trademark notes, that's still open. Changes requested. What have we got that's approved? Format the trademark section. That's what we want. Tim's reviewed it. It's good enough for me. Excellent. So I think we need to resolve these conflicts. So the author of this can go ahead and click on the resolve conflicts and then merge that in as soon as it's done. Add a new paragraph. That was me. That looks ready. Oh, that's got conflicts as well. So if your PR has conflicts, go ahead and resolve them and merge them in. We'll just look through the rest of them and see if we can get them updated. Yes. Great. So the author of this can go ahead and merge that in. Brilliant. Okay, so we can carry on doing those merges and pulls for now. We've dealt with some merge conflicts. If you have trouble with the merge conflicts, go ahead and reach out, and we can talk about that. I think that's everything that I really wanted to cover today. So we've run a little bit over. There are a few more things, related topics on this page, so you can dip into those, or come and speak to us at office hours if you've got questions. And I think we'll call it a day there, and I'll stick around and try and help out if you've got any questions. Cool? Thank you very much.